In this video, we're going to look at how you make rules, sometimes called filters, in a variety of email programs, both webmail and email clients. Hi, I'm John Grubb from 4KCC. If this is your first time here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and then the notification bell. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. Okay, let's get started. The first email program we're going to look at is Gmail. By the way, I've done a blog post on rules and filters. The link is down in the description. I hope you'll take a look at it. All right, let's look at Gmail as webmail. There are two different ways to get to rules. I'm going to start with going to the settings in the upper right-hand corner. And I'm going to click the settings wheel. Then I'm going to click See All Settings. Once we do that, it's going to open another window. And at the top, we want to go to Filters and Blocked Addresses. In Gmail, rules are called filters. Now create a new filter. We click on that, and we'll see the options that we have. We can say an email from a certain address or a certain person, if it had a certain subject, or it has certain words in it, or it doesn't have certain words in it. I can also create this based on the size of the email, whether it's greater than, less than, megabytes, kilobytes, bytes, whether it has an attachment, and I can tell it not to include chats. So for right now, I've just got my address up there. I'm going to click Create Filter. Once I do that, you'll see that I have some options. I can automatically archive any email from my email address. I can mark it as read. I can star it. I can put a label on it so that it's automatically in that label, or what we would think of as a mailbox. I could forward it and put a forwarding address in. I can delete it. I can say never send it to spam. Always mark it important, never mark it important. I can categorize it so that I can put it in a specific category in my Gmail. And you can see when I click there, primary, social, updates, etc. Right now, in my example, I'm going to say never send it to spam, and I'm also going to say always mark it important. Note that the filter will not be applied in old conversations in spam or trash. Now I click Create Filter. What happens now is, in the list of filters, you can see that anything from John at 4KCC follows those two rules. Okay, there's an alternate method to do this. I can pick a particular email, then go to the More, and filter the emails based on a rule. So anything coming from this particular email, I can create a filter. And now I have the same options as before. I can pick whatever one I want, and you're back in business. All right, our next one is Yahoo Webmail. Keep in mind that Yahoo Webmail, that really covers a whole lot of email, because it's not only Yahoo, it's the AT&T domains. And I have them all listed there. They're also listed down in the description. If you have email at any one of those domains, you are using Yahoo, and this is how you would create a filter or a rule in Yahoo Webmail. Now we're going to look in Yahoo, and we're going to start with the idea that you have an email you want to do something. So I put a check mark in front of an email. Now I go up to the More setting. I click Filter, and you can see that it puts Always Move Messages From, and it has the email address of that particular email. I could just hit a drop down and select a folder, or I can choose more options and look at other things I could do. In more options, I can choose what to do with it, not only if it's from them, But if it has like a certain subject, if the subject contains certain words or doesn't contain certain words, same thing down in the body, if the body contains certain words or doesn't contain certain words. But in Yahoo, you can only filter an email to go into some other mailbox, which could include trash, but you can't do anything else with them like you're going to see in some of the other email programs that we take a look at. Now, the second method is if you don't have a particular email, you go to Settings in the right-hand corner, and then down below, More Settings, click on that. Over in the left-hand column, you click on Filters. Next, you click Add a New Filter, and now you have the same options that we had before. And again, depending what you pick contains, doesn't contain, etc., you can move an email into a particular box, again, including delete it. So those are the two methods in Yahoo Mail. All right, Comcast Webmail. That's another popular email service. I'm going to go in the upper right-hand corner and click Settings, then Email Settings. Over on the left, Filter Rules, and I'm going to add a new rule. I'm going to give the rule a name. In this case, I'm just going to say Test. Under Conditions, what condition triggers this? And you can see a list there. Who it's to, header, envelope, whatever. There's all kinds of options that you can use as a trigger. So I'm going to say from, and I'll just type my email address in there. And now what action do I want it to perform after it does that? And you can see keep, discard, redirect, move to a folder, reject with reason, tag it, flag it. And those are all the kind of options that you can have in Comcast. I set it to flag it, and that puts a color. I can click on that color and pick a different color if I don't like red. I can also add another action. Mark the mail, move it to a folder. I'm going to select the folder, and I have a folder called Test Folder. I'm going to click OK. And save. Don't forget to save it. I sent a test mail from one of my other accounts so you can see how it works. And the first thing that you're going to see is over in the left hand where it says Test Folder. You'll see a 1 appear because there's an email in there and it's not been read yet. When I click on that, you'll also see that my email is in there and that it has red as the marker. My rule worked correctly. Next, Microsoft Webmail. Once again, this covers a number of domains: Hotmail, Live.com, Outlook.com. In this webmail, we're going to start, and in the upper right-hand corner, Settings. And then we scroll down, View All Outlook Settings. In the window that appears on the right, you'll see Rules. And we're going to click on Rules. Add a new rule. Now they want us to name the rule, so we're going to give it a name. Again, I'm just going to call it Keystone. What's the condition? And you'll see that there are a lot of options under the condition. I chose from, and I put my email address in there. Again, I'm going to select an action. You can see with Microsoft, we have a lot more options than we did with some others. So I've chosen to mark this one with high importance. Again, I could add another action, or I could add an exception. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm saying don't mark it high importance if, and I go down and go through the exception list, and I'm going to choose has an attachment. Now I save it. Now if I send an email from me and it has an attachment, it will not be marked important. The alternate method in Microsoft Webmail is to click on the email that you want to create a rule, go to the 3 horizontal dots, and then find Create Rule and tap on that. When you do that, the same rule window comes up and you handle it exactly the way I just showed you. All right, our next, Microsoft Outlook. This is the email client now, not Outlook.com, but Microsoft Outlook, which is part of Microsoft Office. I've opened Outlook, and at the top on the Home tab, there are rules, and then Manage Rules and Alerts. I can click and create a new rule. And when I do that, you're going to see that Microsoft Outlook has these divided into sections. How to stay organized, stay up to date. And then they have 2 blank rules. For myself, I usually start with those, but these other ones are pretty specific and they could save you time in setting up rules. But for right now, we're going to go under the blank rule and we're going to apply a rule on messages that I receive. We click that and then Next. Look at this long list of triggers. What's going to trigger the rule? You can see there's so many here. We're not going to go over them right now, but you can go through them if you use Microsoft Outlook and see all the things you can do. In this case, I'm going to click with specific words in the subject. Down at the bottom, you see specific words. You have to click on that and type in the specific words that you want and add them to the search list. Canadian drugs. If you get emails with that, you know what I'm talking about. I click OK. Now it says I'm going to apply this rule if Canadian drugs is in the subject. I click Next. Now I can choose what to do with that. I can have it permanently deleted. Watch what happens when I check that. It gives me a warning. Okay, you're not going to see this. It's going to be permanently deleted. Are you sure you want to do that? Canadian drugs, I'm going to say yes, and that's exactly what I do. Now again, when I click Next, there are exceptions. I could put exceptions, but I don't want any. Another thing Microsoft Office allows you to do, it allows you to run the rule. This will run in your inbox. If you already have emails that fit the rule, it will run them. Here's the alternate method. I have an email. I right-click on the email. I scroll down and I see rules. And I click Create Rule. And this time we get a slightly different window. But if we click on Advanced Options, we would get what we saw a little while ago. But I'm going to do this easy. I want it to play a sound. I'm going to click and browse for the sound that I want. And this goes to my Windows Sounds. And I scroll down, I find the one I want, the ta-da. I choose that, I click Open. And now I can press the little play button and test it. Once I have that set, I just click OK. I run the rule if I want to, put a check mark, and again, OK. Our next email is Thunderbird. That's a Mozilla email client, and we're going to take a look at that for those of you that use that. Here, what you do is from an email, you right-click on the From address at the bottom. You'll see Create Filter From. And now your filter roles come up. You give it a name. And then you can choose what triggers you want. You can match all the following, match any of the following, match all messages. You can add more than one. I said from John at 4KCC. And then I'm going to say what the subject contains, or the subject is test. I go back and change that because I decided I just wanted if the word test is in the subject. Now what to do with it? I can move it, I can set priority, I can set it as junk, all kinds of stuff. Now I go back and change subject is test to subject contains the word test and click OK. There is my new filter or rule. Also in Thunderbird, we can go a different way. Instead of going from an email, we can start from scratch. In that case, I go in the upper right-hand corner to the 3 horizontal lines. When I click there, I go down to the bottom to Tools. And from Tools, I can choose Message Filters. Tap on that, and here's a very familiar box. All I would have to do is tap on the new, or I could edit my old rule, whatever I wanted to do. Next, we're going to look at AOL Webmail. With AOL, we go up to the right under Options, and then we go to Mail Settings. Next, over on the left, Filter Settings. We tap on that. Create Filter. Again, they want us to name it. We can choose if it's going to be from someone or to, carbon copy, BCC, subject, or message. Now, AOL also is one of those that all you can do is move it to a box. You can't make a sound, you can't label it, you can't do anything except move it to a box. So I filled in another trigger, which is going to be the subject. And then I'm going to click on Move to Folder. And there are my options. And that's it for AOL Webmail. And I just put in a new folder called Test Folder. And save it. Next, iCloud Webmail. Here we go to the iCloud. In the lower left-hand corner, we're going to click on the wheel, then Rules, add a rule, and we can say it's from somebody, etc. We could put an email in there, like I'm going to put john@4kcc.com. In iCloud Webmail, I can do a few things. I can move it to folders, I can forward it, I can mark it as read. But it's a little limited what you can do. Next, MacMail. So this is the email client that's on your iMacs. We open Mail, and then we go to the Mail menu, and we tap on Preferences. And this brings up a new window. Over on the right, we click on Rules. Now we can add a rule if we want. We could edit if we have any already. When we add the rule, it gives us some options, gives us a place to put a description, and then we can say if it's from somebody, contains, etc. And we can tell what box we want it to go in, what we want to do with it. We can archive it, but it's limited. Pretty much we can only put it in another box. All right, Windows 10 Mail Program. I have some bad news if you like to use filters or rules. In the current version, there are no options to create a rule or a filter. Hopefully this feature will come to the Mail app in the future, but right now there are no options to create rules. That's it for this video. If you haven't looked in the description below, please take a look at that. There's some good material there. There's the link to the blog post on rules. And the combination of this video and that post, I believe, will really help you get a handle on using rules in your email program. Thanks for watching this video. I hope to see you back in the near future because we post all the time. Bye for now.